Well, hello and welcome to today's video. On the screen are the things we're going to need for this little animal. We're making a puppy, and it was supposed to be, or I was attempting to make a Cocker Spaniel, but I do think he looks more like a Cavalier King Charles. But whatever, he's lovely. So what we're making is, it can either be a pin to wear, or like a brooch, or a fridge magnet. So I'm going to make this as a fridge magnet, but you can just change what you put on the back to create whatever you want. The description below holds the download for the drawing if you'd like it. So whatever it prints out at, I've tried my best to make it come out the right size, but I'm not technically minded, so it might come out bigger or smaller than you want, so you might have to adjust that. So these are the colours I'm going to be using. I've chosen these because a lady called Michelle on my Facebook group has a puppy like this. She has a Cocker Spaniel, so I thought I'd do my best to do something similar for her. And so these are the colours I've chosen. It's not exactly the same, but obviously you can choose to do whatever colours you'd like that match the dog you have, or just whatever colours you have to hand. So anyway, so we've cut this out, and I'm now going to put it almost all the way down and around here. So I'm basically, this is just carded wool at the moment, and I'm just putting it down. You can use carded or roving, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just filling in this block first. I'm sort of basically blocking in some of the colours on the face, and this obviously is going to be his little muzzle. It's going to be raised up slightly as well. It won't be flat to the thing, so I'm going to attempt to build up a bit of shape to it, but you'll see as I lift it up every so often, you'll see the depth we go to. It's not much, it's only, I think it only ends up maybe a centimetre and a half, which is about half an inch or more off the actual base felt. But I'm building this bit up at the back to make it slightly rounded, so that you've got some soft rounded edges on it. And I need enough depth on this one. I'm going to use glass eyes for this one. You could just felt in the eyes if you want to. I have other videos showing how to do eyes, so you can do that if you want. That the glass eyes, or eyes that I've used, are 8mm, and I've just had to, because they come with stalks in the back, I had to cut the stalks down a bit, but you'll see that as we go as well. Or you could just felt them in black if you want to, and just put two little white dots, one in each eye, so that they look slightly wet and shiny. That would work as well. So I'm just building this up from the centre, so it's higher in the centre. Think of a dog's head really, it's higher in the centre and goes off to the sides a bit. And you want it reasonably firm. Then as you can see, I'm felting it in from the sides as well, not just straight down from the top. There you go, that's about half an inch. But still wants more felting yet. And if you've downloaded the drawing and you're unsure about where to put any of these parts, then you can always cut the drawing apart like I've shown you in the other videos and use that for placement. I think I do that in a bit on this one. So that'll help you where you put bits if you need to. So I did white on his muzzle, and this little chest I'm doing in more of a beigey colour, because it would be in shadow, so I wanted to take it down a tone. I do a little bit more to his chest in later on, but so the chest isn't actually white, it's sort of creamy beige, or any colour that you want. And I'm not going to build the chest up too much because I want it set back from his face. There you go, that's what I'd like to do. And this little muzzle here is going to go on separately, so it's going to be raised even further off from the felt you've already done, because again we want some depth to this. So I'm just going to keep building this up and holding the template over it until I get the shape I want. If you have other dogs you'd like me to do this with at some point, leave me what breed they are or anything like that in the comments below. And although I won't make them very often because it would start to get boring for you, I can see if there's a popular dog and I will draw one out and make that for you at some point. So if you've got anything like that, just leave it in the comments. I have a little notebook I keep all my stuff in so that I will make a note of it, it won't get lost. And we'll see if there's another breed that's very popular. I'll do it later on in the year if there is. So I'm now just holding this in place so that I can make sure that the muzzle doesn't get out of control and get too big. And here I'm stabbing it in from the sides. I'm just going to keep doing that till it comes back to the size of the template I'm using. Now you can hold this with something else, pieces of card on your you can hold this between pieces of card if you need to, because if you're not very confident, this is one of the times you can stab your fingers, and trust me, it hurts because I did it. So it's do what I say, not do what I do. It's not a good look when you're using white wool. No, it's just a case of felt that through and attach it. Hopefully if you felted it well enough to start with, you won't felt it flat when you're doing this. It's really just a few pokes more or less, just to make sure it's attached all the way around, because you've still got a little bit of felting to do on it yet. And you can see about the depth, so that when you look at it you can see why I haven't built the chest area up too much. And this is just his bottom jaw. So I'm still building up this back area because I know I want to put these eyes in. So I need a bit of depth to be able to put them in. And if you think of the shape of a dog's head, Now my dog's going to have a little white blaze that goes up his face, but you don't have to have this if you don't want to, obviously. You can start to see the depth I'm going for here. Now, because this is going to be a pin or a fridge magnet, I didn't want the green that I have as a base colour to show. This is why I'm adding a bit of the wool from the front to the back, so it's just covering over the edges. I'm not pulling it hard, I'm just tucking it over. If I pull it hard, I'm going to change the shape, and I don't want to do that. So just do that until you get the green covered, so that you know that it's not going to show. And now I've cut the next part out of the dog's head. I'm marking where the eyes go at the moment. This is why it's so handy to be able to cut the template apart. So there, the glass eyes I've got, as I say, they're 8mm, but the stalks on the back are too long, which I need to cut down quite a bit. So now using, you can use an awl. I do have one, I don't know where I've put it. And I'm just poking a hole through the whole thing so that I can put the glass eye in. So I've chopped the backs off with those. It was very easy to do actually. I thought it was going to be hard, but it wasn't. I'm just pushing these in at the moment. I will glue them in later. So the biggest thing is obviously you don't want the stalk things to poke out the back. So make sure you've cut them short enough. And then I'm just going to build up some shape around the eyes so that I've got like the shape of eyelids and things. So it's actually going to come over just slightly over the eyes and help to hold them in. So just be a bit delicate here. You don't want to break your needle on the eyes or the stalk. I do fiddle with them a lot because I'm trying to keep them straight, because I haven't glued them in yet. I will, although I'm going over the eyes, I'll be able to pull them out, put a bit of glue and then push them back under where the eyelids are later on. But they do keep liking to look off in weird directions, so you just have to keep readjusting those. You could glue them in now if you want to and then build around them. It's just a habit I have from when I used to make animals in 3D, and I would mark where their eyes were, build around their eyes, take them out and then put them back. So it's just a habit I have, but you could definitely glue them in now if you want to, as long as you make sure they're straight, wait for the glue to dry and then just felt around them. Or you can, as I say, just felt the eyes in with felt if you want to, and then you can build the eyelids up around that as well. I just thought showing you the glass eyes would make a nice change from the felting. Right, so here I'm trying to make something with a neater edge. This is why I encapsulate the wool inside that card so that I cannot poke my fingers. And it's just an old piece of card I've got, but it does make the edge, you could do it a lot more than this, it does make the edge neater, and it gives you a nice edge for an eyelid. Again, this is a technique I use for when I made 3D animals as well, so it works on both. It's easier than trying to felt a fuzzy edge neat over the eyelid, over the eye, sorry. So what you could do is have a look at a picture of a dog's head. It can be any dog really. It's the same kind of thing. You just want to build up so that the eyes have a bit of depth going away from them, so that you've got the eyebrow and it goes towards the back of the head. There you can just see as I lift it, it's how it's raised just a little bit. So I can do the same thing for this one. We're going to make his little eyelid. So basically what I did was I put some felt down, felted it halfway, folded it over, felted it some more, and then that nice neat edge you got from when you folded it, I put it in there, and then I felt it a little bit more after that, and that tucks the extra fibres in. And now I'm just going to trim it a bit to size. And then because you've got that nice straight edge, you can have all sorts of different, because you've got that straight edge, you can make different expressions on him. You can have his eyelids drooping down and making him look sad like that, or you can have them arching over his eyes. So it's nice to have that straight edge. It's so much easier. So this is just, you can use black or dark brown, whatever you'd like on this one. And this is just going to edge the eyes. If you look at a dog's eyes, you can see his little eyelids, the edges of his eyelids, and they're usually sort of a dark colour. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm just using this dark colour to shape the eye a bit more. So I'm going to take it a little bit out at the side there, and then when I get to the front, I'm going to come down into a little point at the front as well. And this little dark line around the eye makes all the difference. At least I think so. So again, if you refer to a photograph of a dog's eye, you'll see the shape that you get. You don't have to go for hyper-realism on this, because it's just a brooch or a magnet. So as long as it looks, it looks like what you're going for, it's fine. But you're not actually trying to recreate the perfect, realistic-looking dog, unless you want to go that far, obviously. So you don't have to worry too much, but you're going for an approximate shape. And the eyes are the expression. Give him whatever expression you want. You can go quite cartoony as well if you wanted to. I can't do cartoons to save my life, but you could have a look at cartoon dogs and do that kind of face if you wanted to. You could have great big eyes or whatever. So you get to play around a bit with this. So I'm just blending all that in now. And I'm doing it in from the sides like that because it helps to keep its shape. Now I want to find out where his nose is going to go. So that's why I've now, if you look, I've cut the template, the nose out of the template. You can obviously do this freehand if you want, but I'm just showing you the easiest ways to do things, and why make it hard work for yourself if you don't have to. So I am using black for this, but you could use a dark brown if you want to. And then with the same colour, just roll it thinly, and where we put the bottom jaw on, along his little jowls, we're just going to follow that with a black line, and then up to his nose, and then back down and along the other side. And the little bit where it comes back down from the nose, we're going to make a teeny weeny little triangle. Just build it out just a teeny touch, just round there, and then go down the other side. And as you'll see, I'm poking up into the jaw, and not just backwards, not straight down from the top, because I want it to tuck under a little bit. I hope you get some idea of the depth now as I lift it up. He's looking really cute. I'm going to do his ears now, so I wanted it to be slightly different colours. So I am using the base colour that we've got of that orange, but I've added a little bit of golden colour in it, sort of like beigey colour, and I'm just going to mix those together. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it's nicer to have the little bits of the brown, darker brown, and the little bits of the lighter brown showing through. And then we're just going to felt in his ears. And what I did with this as well was I twisted the wool as well. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute, because if I remember correctly, Cocker Spaniels have slightly curly wavy hair on the ears, so I wanted to give that impression. So as I'm putting this down, I'm trying to bunch it up in places and things to make it look a bit wavier. And the wool I'm using here is the rovings or tops, but you can do exactly the same thing with the carded wool. You can do this whole thing with carded wool. But so what I'm aiming for here is just to have a little bit of movement in the ears, a little bit of wave and kink. So I've curled it in my fingers and I bunch it up and twist it. You can see how I've curled it roughly and I'm pushing it around. I was trying all sorts of things to get the effect I wanted. This is the same colour that I've used on the rest of the ear. And as before, don't forget to tuck some round the back. because we won't see the back when we're done. We're just trying to hide the green edge or whatever colour base felt material you have. This is just a little dark because I wanted to have some shadow. You won't really see much of it. Then we just repeat the process on the other ear. I have to say, I was very taken with this little chap I made. And even though all my kids are adult, they all want him now. Not because I'm brilliant, just because it's really, really cute. I can see making a lot more of these. So I'm back to the white now for the paws, because again they can come forward a bit, so I want them to stick out a little, in colour wise I want them to show up a little bit more. And so we're going to build the paws up away from the chest depth. So the furthest part away from you on this will be the chest, that's the flattest bit, that's what I'm saying. I'm just felting the paws on here. Again, I've got roving, so I'm just tucking it in and then pulling it round. But if you've got carded wool, you won't obviously have to do that. That's just a little shadow. And I'm adding a little bit of extra colour under here because I thought even though it was cream, it was a bit flat. So I've just got some tiny bits of the golden colour that I used on the ear and mix it in with the same creamy colour I use for the body, just to give it a little bit more texture. And he's just going to have some toes, so we're popping in some toes here. Just need to make sure that you felt him well, because especially if you're going to use him as a brooch or a pin on a piece of clothing, because he will get brushed up against, or things like that, and you don't want him to start to fall apart. And I've just got some craft glue here, so I'm just putting it, this is on the back of a piece of card. It's all I had to hand at the time, so I'm using a piece of card, but you could use all sorts of things for the backing. I do have, which I couldn't find, a sort of like some foam sheets, craft sheets for kiddies, which is quite thin, but that would have made a nice backing as well. But what I've done is glue it on, and then I'm just going to leave it to dry. Push it down as well as you can without crushing it out of shape onto your backing, and then just make sure it's properly dry before you do anything else with it. And the backing I cut using the template around the outside of the template. So what I'm showing you here are the three options I have that you can put on the back of it. I have the thick fridge magnet, which I bought off Amazon. I just bought a box of them. Then you can have the thin one, which has got a sticky back, which is nice and easy to use because you just pop it straight on because there's no real weight to the project. Or you can have a brooch pin, which I also bought from a craft shop. They come in various sizes, so just make sure you get the one that you think will support the brooch or pin that you've made. And you just stick them straight on. You could stick them on with some hot glue or craft glue, whatever's going to be best to hold it. And that's it then. He's really, really cute. I hope you enjoy making him. I really did enjoy making him, and I am going to make some more. Like I say, leave a thing in the comments below if you have any dogs you'd like me to have a go at for you, and I'll get around to doing that later on in the year. Otherwise, a happy felting, and I will see you on the next one, and let me know how you get on with him. I'll be really interested. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye for now.